Thank you. Okay, great. So I'm sure more people will be entering. My name's Laura Petacolis, and I am the principal investigator of this NASA-funded community science effort. And in 2017, so I'm gonna go through, I have some slides, but first we have 4, 5, oh, now 6, Hunter just entered. We have 6 team members here today who are funded through this project. So we're gonna introduce ourselves, at least 4 of us who are kind of the moderators for the day. And then if the other 2 would like to introduce themselves, they may, we'll find out. So I'll start, and then I will go to Jeffrey next, and then Jeffrey can go to Hannah, and then Hannah will go to Dar. All right, so my name's Laura Petacolis, as I already said, and for 2017, I was at the University of California, Berkeley. I worked there for 17 years and decided I needed a change and came to Sonoma State University. And so I am here in Sonoma State, which many of you probably get if you drink wine. It is very likely some of the wine that you have had, it comes from Sonoma County. We produce a lot of wine, delicious wine, for those of you who like wine. And I will be taking you through the beginning of the slides pretty soon. I have a PhD in physics. I've been doing a lot of science education for the last 17 years. And I'm really looking forward to this next attempt at getting some science out of your photographs. And I'm super excited about seeing you all here today. It makes me so happy. All right, so we'll go to Jeffrey next.
Hi, my name is Jeffrey. I'm a technology consultant that works in the department at Eon, and I'm happy to work on this project.
Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah. As we begin to interact on social media and online and via email, it is probably me you're going to be talking to. I recently graduated from Sonoma State with a master's degree in English literature, but I find myself really, really interested in science too. So I'm also a science communicator as well as a literature lover. One of the things I'm most passionate about is what I get to do every day, and that is bridging the gap between, the humanities and STEM. And I'm really looking forward to the opportunities that this project is going to present. Thank you.
All right, Dar.
Hi, I'm Darlene Yan. If you got this message from the listservs, that was probably from me. So I'm going to be the volunteer whisperer. I worked with Laura back at UC Berkeley Space Sciences Lab for the 2017 Eclipse as well. And I am back for the 2024. And I see some people who will also be at Mazatlan, Mexico. I'm very excited. I booked my tickets months ago. So I'm excited to be a part of this project as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, Hunter, how about, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Hunter. I'm a data scientist at UCSF. I worked at Etanon a while ago, right as Laura came in, is when I left, so we were able to give each other high five going opposite directions.
Yes, it's very fun to have you back on our team. We snagged him back. All right, and our other team member here tonight is Troy Wilson. Troy, would you like to say hello to the group?
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Troy Wilson. I work with Laura at Edion. I am our local programmer. I do a lot of the websites and software stuff.
Great. All right. Thank you all. Okay, so today's really kind of a informational webinar. We're still looking through applications. We are keeping it open till the end of October, just since the annular eclipse was on Saturday. And if you got to see the partial eclipse or took photographs, please go ahead and share in the chat about that, because I had a lot of fun with shadows and pinhole cameras. So while I'm getting up my PowerPoint slides here, you can chat about that. Okay, I am now sharing my screen. So here we go. All right, and then if any of the team members sees anything wrong with these slides at any time, please let me know. Okay, it looks okay though. Great. Takes a team. In fact, everyone here is part of the team. It's so fun. It's going to be the biggest team ever. I know it. So this is just a reminder of where our website is, eclipsemegamovie.org. If you know how to use QR codes. Well, I think Hannah's going to be talking about that soon. So basically this 2024, this is just our kind of overview slide. We have several ways you can participate. You can take photographs of the corona under totality. You can help with machine learning, Python coding. You can donate to the cause to support others' involvement. It's pretty expensive to do the science pieces. So we really appreciate those of you who have the equipment, using your equipment to support science. And for those of you who don't, we have other ways for you to get involved, but you might want to help donate. And then, of course, we'll be, as Hannah mentioned, we'll be putting out communications in different ways, including some newsletters that then Darlene will send out to you all. So we're giving away 100 3D printed equatorial mounts to volunteer photographers. And so Hannah, I think you were gonna get a little poll here.
Yeah, we know that a lot of you are probably here because of your experience with our project in 2017. And I just wanted to take a quick poll. So if I could see a show of hands, please. How many of you are here because you participated or you heard about the 2017 Eclipse Megamovie? Awesome. Excellent. Thanks so much. And how many of you are here for the first time? Brand new volunteers? Me. Awesome. Thank you so much. That is so good to know. Welcome back and welcome.
Thank you, Hannah. Okay, so that's really great to know, and good job finding the hand raising if you haven't used that before. So oh my gosh, come on, Laura, what's happening here? I want to go the other way. Okay, all right, so just to remind you that for this project, you need to be on what's called the path of totality, which means that the moon will be completely covering the sun, and that then allows the atmosphere of the sun to be seen. And then there's stars out and it gets really cold and the animals think it's nighttime. Well, they act as though it's nighttime, and it is physically a shock to most people. Lots of swearing by accident. Some people cry, people fall down on their knees. It's quite, and so we hope that you will get to have that experience. That's one of the reasons we created this entire project, was just to help people get to that, to have that experience. This in 2017 and now our goal also is that you are you have some automated way to take photographs so that you can enjoy those 4 minutes without having to worry about the pictures. Also, I see that someone still raised their hand. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat for now. And I don't know if I can. Okay. Okay, so the path goes, we'll share some places where you can see where the path is. I'm going to give a quick science update for the few of you who were part of the 2017 eclipse. I know there's been a people when they hear that we're going to do this again, they want to know, well, what happened to our photos and did you get some science done? So I just want to answer that question. And the short summary statement is our goal for the 2017 Eclipse Megamovie was really to produce the movie that we did make in 2018. It wasn't as stunning as any of us had imagined, and we learned a lot. So one goal is to really help our volunteers to put the images they're taking together to make HDR images, high dynamic range images, so that then the movie is this beautiful image of the solar corona at higher resolution. So that's one of our kind of sub goals. NASA is paying us to do science. And so, you know, before you get funded by NASA, you have to do a little bit of science, which is why they didn't fund us the first time. So Juan Carlos Martinez Oliveras is our science PI. He's at UC Berkeley, and he studies the sun as his profession. I study the aurora borealis, so still plasma, but different, you know, it's here on Earth. So we talk to Juan whenever we're making our final science decisions. And we've been working, really the science update is possible due to volunteers and students, because we weren't funded to do the science. But it was even possible because of folks like yourself. Here are some of the volunteers from 2017, and the principal investigator of a National Science Foundation grant called Crowd and the Cloud. He worked to showcase all the work that communities are doing across the United States to further science through this community science efforts. And so he made 3 videos of the volunteers and took a lot of photographs of volunteers. So maybe you'll see some pictures of yourself in here. So one of the things that we've been trying to do is replicate some scientific results from our colleagues in Japan. They came to the US and stationed 7 different sites with DSLR cameras, much like the ones we were using for the 2017 eclipse, digital single reflex DSL lens, single lens reflex DSLR cameras. So they came with 7 of those, and they created these images of the corona. But what they did then is they looked for changes in the atmosphere, basically things that are moving away from the atmosphere. So just like you think of, you know, a rocket leaving Earth, there are things that leave the sun called plasma jets and plasma transients, and plumes are big, long plasma things. And so in this image on the right, you might be able to see, depending on how well this is coming through, there's like a white here, and there's white here, and there's white here. So you can kind of see that it's moving up, and that you can use that as a plasma jet. And you can then calculate the velocity at which that plasma jet is moving away. So we wanted to see if we could do a similar analysis with your images. We did not have people in 2017 take what's known as flats and darks. This year we will. And so what we had to do was, and we didn't put many restrictions on the photographs at all. And we got many different types of photographs. This image on the left is a high dynamic range image made with 90 different images from you all across Oregon. And so you can see, and then it's inversed. So you would normally see the white where the dark is and the dark where the white is, but we reversed it because we could see kind of the features easier. Then we took another image made with 90 of your images, different people's images, and we subtracted them to make a difference image. And that's what this image is over here on the right. So you can kind of see some of the features pulled out a bit. And then we compared it with the Hanauku Hanauka et al. 2018 paper, and you can see that we're seeing this. This is called a plasma plume right here, where they mark it with a 6, and you can see we have that as well right here. And then they found the jets up here 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're still analyzing the data to try to find those. They did do flats and darks. They had the same cameras. They all took raw images. We did not. So these are all things that we learned from our first attempt at this, is that it was, of course, hard, as we knew, to kind of put all your images together into a coherent image. But we did, there were some of you who created really beautiful, you took many different images, and our science PI, Juan, put this together using our Python code. It's called an HDR Gaussian normalized image, which for those of you who are coders, we'll talk about next year, and you can help us make these as well with people's images. And this is kind of more what we're trying for this year from our photographers. And so we're going to be more specific. And in order to get this, you can see, like, this is the star Regulus right here, this star. And part of the problem was that because a lot of our photographers did not have equatorial mounts, then they weren't, it was harder to kind of orient the corona in the right place for each image. And we did some of that with the star, but the star wasn't always in the field of view for all the images. In any case, we have some plans for this time around. So as I said, these are our 4 official volunteer positions you have. One is called Science Team Alpha. The other is Python Machine Learning. You could be a volunteer scientist, or you can be an Eclipse chaser. So what do all those things mean? So we'll talk about the Science Team Alpha. Science Team Alpha are those who basically are going to do the science experiment in the way that we imagine it happening. So you will be the most restricted team and the most challenged team. And so if you're up for a good technical challenge, we're here for you. We're here to give you very detailed instructions, to have you test out your equipment. You may have already applied to get one of the 100 equatorial mounts. Maybe you already have an equatorial mount. So those are the folks who will be our Science Team Alpha members. They're the ones who NASA essentially is expecting us to work with. And we're excited to work with you. This next bucket, so to speak, or bucket's probably not a good word, our next category of volunteer are Python machine learning volunteers. Right now, the code is written in Python that we have. That doesn't mean that if you're like an expert in C, that you can't change all our Python code into C code. And I mean, by all means, if you want to do the competition in C and you can start with a Python code, I'm not going to stop you. In fact, I will support you. And then, or maybe Troy will be supporting you. He has programmed in C more recently. And I see that Juan just joined us. Great. I'll have him introduce himself in a minute. So this won't happen until next year and the year after. But if some of you are really excited, I know some of you are already in our Discord channel, which we'll talk about later. But so we might get some of your thoughts on that. And testing, we're supposed to do some testing. That's what I said we would do. So we will be doing it. All right, so NASA's also very excited about this machine learning. They're very excited about having a lot of the heliophysics research use machine learning and to really push the envelope in that area. So I'm excited that people have already signed up to do that. Okay, so let's say both of those seem way overwhelming to you. You just wanted to go to the path of totality and point your camera and just enjoy yourself. Okay, you can still be part of our project. We call you our volunteer scientist. And So we'll have these kind of meetings for you as well. You'll be able to follow the 2017, all those documents, procedures. So you also are welcome. And we did get a lot of great images with that procedure. So you're still a part of the team in the volunteer scientist arena. And then let's say you're just here because you think this whole project sounds kind of cool, but you're not a photographer, you're not a coder, you just want to know more. And so then you're just going to follow, not just, you're going to follow our excellent social media from Hannah here and Darlene, and maybe you'll come here and share some of your experiences or questions. No question's a dumb question. I really strongly believe that. And so please ask your questions. This is a safe space. We are not a patronizing group. We know people come to these things from all sorts of spaces, and we have, like Hannah was saying, she's an English major and she's always asking us lots of great questions, and some of them are even like make us have to rethink our science. That's a good question. So she will be a great model for that. Now, some of you for the 2017 Eclipse, you might have had the mobile app for the Megamovie. And we are very fortunate to have passed that on. Well, really, someone else was really enthusiastic and excited to take that on with Hugh Hudson in Kentucky. And they got funded by NASA as well. And their name is sunsketcher.org. And so they're creating an app. It will be like, let's say like you really wanted to be part of this type of thing, but like I said, you didn't have a big camera, and you really, so you can join Sunsketcher. And so there's sunsketcher.org is the website. And eventually, I don't think they have the app out just yet. They're testing it. They just tested it on the annular eclipse. They're looking at Bailey's beads and looking at the size of the sun. Some of your images, if some of you also take high definition images of the solar beads, they want those also. So we are coordinating with them. But now at least we don't have to try to do it all in one project. So that's very exciting for me. Okay. All right, so specifically, I think and let me just pause here to see if Hannah or Dar see any questions that I need to answer before I go on. No?
We have technical questions, but I think we can handle them later.
Okay,
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see, how are we doing? Okay, Science Team Alpha Recruit. We call you the stars. Science Team Alpha Recruits. Okay, so you are our expert photo team. What's expected of you? What these are the folks we're going to be selecting for we'll be selecting folks for this role. And if you're selected, you will start practicing taking photographs of the sun with the required setup. You're going to be in the path of totality on April 7th and 8th. On April 7th, stars determine the geographic north at your recording location. Stars will use an equatorial mount on a tripod with a DSLR camera pointing north. Stars will use, I think we increased this to 600. Is that right? Anyways, we're working on that. A large lens. Stars will take flats and darks on April 8th, as well as many bracketed images as possible. And you'll do that either by using our required software, a DSLR camera that works with the software, connected laptop. You'll connect the laptop to the camera and you'll implement one of several sequences of exposure times provided. So we're working on some kind of custom sequences to get the data in the way we want it. However, that said, if you are an expert photographer and you've been doing these kind of bracketed images, or you have some fancy camera that we will not have thought of because we didn't even know it existed, and you can take 90 different exposure times in 4 minutes, then we are not going to stop you. We are going to support you and cheer you on, because that will be great data. So to ensure we can see enough of the corona, we do not want you to zoom in too much. This was a good zoom amount. It's a little, it's maybe a tiny bit more zoomed than we would want. It's good though. Oh no, this is the size. This is what we want. Right. Sorry, I swapped out a picture that we didn't want. So this is what we want. And so the field of view is about 4 to 5 degrees. So if you know how to calculate field of view and you know what degrees are, then you can figure that out yourself. If you don't worry. We are going to give you tables based on various cameras. We're using what we did last year, but we're refining it. And so, I mean, not last year, in 2017, and we're refining that information. So, so why are we asking for so many brackets this year? This year in 2017, I think we said 4 at a minimum. Well, it turns out that the professional Eclipse photographers they have cameras that can take 86 different exposure times. And so 4 just did not cut it. and you're not going to be able to take 86 probably because your camera won't do that. But we can get many more from you than for those of you who already took them. And for those of you who've never been part of this project, you'll take as many as you can based on what we share with you. And here are some pictures from the 2017 Eclipse that people uploaded to us, and you can see this is a 4-second exposure. These are all ISO 100 for those of you who know your camera settings. So this is 4 seconds, 1.6 second exposure time, 0.67 second exposure time, 0.25 seconds, 0.0125 seconds, 0.067 seconds, and 0.008 seconds. And so you can see that as you have a longer exposure time, you get more light into your camera. And we like that because we want to see the corona way out to the edges of your photograph. But we also want to see the corona close in. And so for those of you who have never seen a coronal image, let me just say this is the moon, and then this is the atmosphere, the sun on the outside. And the moon looks very dark in these images, but as you get, you might be able to see it a little bit, probably not, but you can start to see the earth shine on the moon if you let enough light through. So our earth is being illuminated by the sun, and then that reflects off of the moon into your camera. Isn't that wild? Such a trip. So it's a very cool when you can see that. Okay, so so far as of October 1st, so this was a couple weeks ago, we got a bunch of applications, and Jeffrey did this wonderful map, a volunteer sign up map, and this is all of the people who had signed up. We have more folks who have signed up, but as of October 1st, this is where people said they would be. Green are the primary locations, pink are secondary locations, and cyan are tertiary locations, because some of you aren't quite sure yet. And you gave us zip codes, your city, lat long, GPS coordinates. We used all of those. So is there anything else you wanted to say about this, Jeffrey, or any of the other slides I showed?
For this in particular, this is for respondents or participants who actually indicated a location, either by zip code, city, or GPS coordinates. Other participants didn't include any particular data that can be used to locate them on this map, and so they weren't included as the total number of participants. Just wanted to put that out there.
Great, thank you. Okay. Great. And then, whoops. All right, so then here, this is the distribution. Wait, what happened? Oh, not of all participants. I must have not saved this correctly. Oh yeah, all participants requesting an equatorial mount. And now the colors are different. Yellow's primary and red secondary. Note that some of you put locations that either are outside of totality because you misunderstood our question, which is probably what happened, or because you might have thought that maybe you could take pictures from these locations, but you cannot take pictures from those locations for the corona. You won't be able to see the corona unless you're right where the moon has completely covered the sun. And so that's something that I just want to make clear, that a lot of people don't quite understand, that, you know, we can block the sun's bright, you can block the light of the sun with your hand or your thumb, but you can't see the corona because the light from the sun is so bright and it's scattering in the sky, which is what makes it blue. This makes the sky blue. And the corona is so dim, you can't see the corona past the blue in the atmosphere. And so you have to either be above the atmosphere, which is what NASA, of course, does, is it puts satellites above the Earth's atmosphere to look at the sun, or you have to wait during when the moon blocks the sunlight so that the atmosphere isn't as much of a problem. Now it's still a problem for us, but just mostly in resolution in terms of like how precise we can see things. But we will be able to see the corona. Okay, so we're looking forward to more of those. Yeah, so that was just what I was saying there. Okay, all right. Are there any questions I need to address before I pass it over to Hannah?
Laura, we do have a few Q&As about camera specs specifically. Do you want to answer those now, or do you want to wait until the end?
I can answer those while you're, I mean, I can answer the ones in the Q&A while you're talking, and then at the end we can do a open question and answer.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Well, without further ado, hello, I'm back. I'm Hannah. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit really quick about social media and communications, ways to talk to us and ways that we want to talk to you and the rest of the world about the work that we're doing together. So one of the things you can do is, if you're familiar with how to scan a QR code with your smartphone, feel free to scan this code. This is the link tree where we have a few different resources about for one, our social media, but also we have in there some guides for what to expect during a total solar eclipse that I think would be really fun to share out. And the next slide, please. So the first way to get information about this project that we want to share with you is, of course, going to be on the website. The website is live, it is ready, and it has tons of information, from safety information to it has the camera specs that we're looking for. It has links to the survey that we ask you to take if you want to participate in this project. It has as well links to other NASA community science projects like SunSketcher that were also funded this round for the heliophysics big year. Also on the website are science goals and background for this project in particular, if you're new like I am and you want to learn a little bit more about it. We have a step-by-step stellarium guide for you to use so that you can visualize the eclipse, what it'll look like at the time, as well as a blog that I myself am in charge of writing and keeping fresh. And on there is a post about Virginia Woolf. I saw I have one other literature lover in the chat. I wrote a blog post about Virginia Woolf's eclipse experience in 1927. So please feel free to visit the website for those things. And Discord, this is the thing you've been hearing me talk about all day in chat, or all meeting, I should say. I'm going to fix that Discord link really quick. Here's a new one. That should be good. So it's going to be the best way to talk to us. If you have questions for us that are not covered on the website or not covered in social media, anything else you see, please, please, please join this Discord. And after this, I'm going to be giving a brief guide, a brief how-to on how to join, how to get you set up. Hi, Daniela, welcome. I'm glad you can hear us now. We are not doing a mobile app, but SunSketcher is, and more information on that can be found on the website. So on the Discord, Yeah, could you go back to the last slide really quick, please, Laura? Thank you. EclipseMegamovie.org, all one word. Or perhaps Dar or someone can post it in the chat as well. That way you can just click it. Awesome. And then back to the other one, please, Laura. Thank you kindly. On the Discord, there are going to be moderators working to make sure that the Discord remains a safe community, free from trolls, free from all of those things that we like to hide from on Twitter and other platforms. There's also a forum in there for the community to post their own posts. I have some posts that I have begun to kind of get us started. Some places to put pictures. I started at like a pet pictures Eclipse post, things like that, a place where we can share where we're going to be. I think it was Liam that had the great idea that maybe we can create a state-by-state forum so that people can work together so that we can meet up in the states when we go and actually see the eclipse. We also have links that will work. They'll go back and forth with our website. If something goes up on the website, we will make sure to alert you on the Discord. We also have, thanks to Troy Wilson, who you heard from earlier, he's our software guy. He made a Discord bot, which is just a little guy that does things for us, like assigns roles, that helps us make sure that we're seeing the information that we want to see and not all of the information everywhere all at once, because that could be overwhelming. So stay tuned. I'll be doing a little guide on how to sign up, how to get set with it. I really hope that we see our community get going on this Discord, because I think it's going to be a great way to stay engaged even after the eclipse. And we can use this Discord to keep you updated on the science as we do it as well. Thank you, Laura. Here's that Linktree QR code again. Feel free to scan it if you want the links to any of the things I'm talking about. We also have Instagram and Twitter. I will be less active on Instagram and Twitter, but I will be when we start to receive pictures, when we start to get news about science. I'll be sharing these things out to the world with NASA. NASA will help me push the social media. These are our primary social media platforms. Instagram and Twitter, mostly Instagram, but we'll see what comes about. Please, please, please send us pictures. We will repost them. We'll get NASA to see them, NASA social media, I should say. And I really want to make this a really big movement for, amateur astrophotography. Why not? And community. So here's that Linktree QR code again, just in case. This begins the Discord tutorial. I'm going to post the link in the chat one more time. So you can get to the Discord either by that link or by opening the QR code. And then, awesome. Okay. I'm so sorry that that link is not working. I don't know why. Danielle, yes, I will make sure that the slides are available on the website. So we'll give people just a few more seconds to get in through the Linktree link. Yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah, it worked for someone.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you for that, Tim. Okay, I think let's move on to the next slide. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I see this wave of incoming people, and it makes my heart so full. Okay, so for anyone who's not sure about Discord, doesn't have an account yet, this is for you. Yes, Mark, that's a great idea. We'll definitely do that as well. If you don't have an account yet, please feel free to head over to discord.com and click login at the top right corner like you see on the screen. And then if you don't have that account, you can click register. That'll get you started with the process. You will need a valid email to register, FYI. Next slide, please. So just FYI, your display name is going to be different from your username. For example, my display name is Hannah, that's my name, but my username is Dope Truffles. And that's just what friends on the internet that may not know me IRL, as they say, or may not have met me face to face, they call me Dope Truffles because that's my username and that's how they know me. But in the Eclipse Megamovie Discord, you can change your name to be whatever you want, and you can have people call you by your first name, your username, whatever you're most comfortable with. It'll also ask you to make a password, and you will also want to check your email and confirm your account. That way you can interact on Discord if you have just made your account today. And next slide, please. So navigation. In the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see a navigation bar, basically. The welcome is where you'll see anybody hopping into the server. You'll see a button that you can click that says wave to say hi. That's one of my favorite features of Discord. I don't know why, it just makes me feel so happy. So you can welcome people who are joining the Discord. And I plan to, take some time to sift through all of our new joinees. We do ask that you begin by reading the rules and accepting them or agreeing to them before that, before you get started. Announcements, right under rules, is where you're going to find most of your important information. This is where we're going to announce meetings. This is where we'll announce if there's new news up on the website. This is where we'll announce when we've picked all of our mounts. It's one of the places. It's not the only place, but it'll be a great place to access it.
Hannah,
Sure.
there's a question from someone who already has Discord, but they just want to add this. They just want to add Megamovie.
Absolutely, there is. Were you able to click any of the links, Tom? Did any of those links work for you?
Oh, because the link should help. Okay,
Yeah. If he's logged in, so make sure that you're logged in, Tom. And also, I will stay behind with anyone who needs help troubleshooting their Discord. We'll stay behind after the meeting and make sure that you guys get signed up and get into the server. Yeah, I'll stay until everybody's set.
Okay, Tom is in.
Okay, awesome. Yay! Excellent. I'm very glad. So you'll see an example of an announcement there on the screen. And again, we'll make sure these slides are posted to the website and the Discord.
Okay, I think you were done with this slide. Is that correct?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'll remember to say next slide.
Oops, but now I went through too many. Hold on, hold on. Okay, so we're here. And now we're here, roles.
So just as you heard Laura talk about the roles earlier, we have a way for you to identify very quickly with these roles. And you get to choose yourself what you want to do. So head on over to roles after you've agreed to the rules. And then you'll see a post that has each of the roles listed: Science Team Alpha, Python, Volunteer Scientists, and Eclipse Chasers. You'll also see that there are some icons beneath the posts. These are what we call reactions in Discord. You can right click on like you can in Zoom, you can right click on something and like it, or you can add a heart eyes emoji, that kind of thing. So in order to assign yourself a role using the fancy bot that Troy designed for us, just click on the reaction that is right next to the little image that's right next to the name of the group that you want to be in, or the team, as we can say. You'll also see on the right side of your Discord window a list of people who are online or who are in the Discord. And you'll see that the colors are different depending on what team they're on. And I think that this is going to be a really fun way for the community to engage as a whole. The other way that the roles are going to be really useful is that it will help make sure that the people that are on Science Team Alpha are not getting only news that are meant for Python people. Because I imagine if you don't know Python, or if you're not familiar with machine learning and you didn't opt into this information, it may not be really awesome to have that flooding your inbox all the time.
What? I mean, right. Exactly.
Unless you're Laura. Or me, really. I'm everything, honestly. Okay, next slide, please, Laura. Now, the second half of that bar on the left-hand side, you can absolutely choose multiple teams. Please do. I don't know how the colors work out, but we'll figure it out. The bottom half of the bar on the left-hand side of the screen is called community. And this is where you guys have full reign. The top half is mostly me and the rest of the Eclipse Megamovie team. The bottom half is all you. We have a general chat, and general chats are often where people kind of check in with each other. They talk about really very general, vague things. No real meat and potatoes in the general chat, as they say. But you'll see underneath EM 2024 General that there is Eclipse Chasing. That is our forum. Each of these featured, you see suggestions, Eclipse photography sets, Eclipse pets, where will you be, Q&A, welcome. These are all forum posts, and you can post your own as well. I created these posts just for the community, for all of us to highlight what we're most proud of. And I think on the next slide, if we'll go, Laura, please. Here's how to make a post. So you want to click on Eclipse Chasing, and then up at the top of your screen, you'll see New Post. Click on that, and then a little box like you see underneath in the middle of this slide. Give it a title, something quippy or something not so quippy, whatever you're feeling at that moment. The title is important though, because that'll be the first and probably the only thing people see until they click on it. Give it a title, put some meat and potatoes inside the text, and maybe add a picture by clicking on the little image icon over on the right-hand side of that box. The image will also pop up right alongside the post. Zethos, that's a great observation. And I just want to let you know, we have the bot designed so that these things delete after a little while. It's not going to stay. It's not going to be too spammy or anything. Don't worry about that. And it's not going to like broadcast everybody. Thank you so much for asking though. That's a really great point. Okay, so that's how we make a post. And if I could have the next slide, please, Laura. So the other thing that is very exciting about Discord that I love very much is that we can upload our own custom emojis. And we have a graphic designer on site who designed the background for all of these slides. She also gave us some emojis that we could upload. I think the banana turtle is probably my favorite. So, but this slide is also about where to ask questions. And that's why we have our Q&A forum post. Now, if that post gets to be a little bit too full, I think I may even open just a new forum for just questions and answers. So if you start to feel that there's not enough space for anything, let me know. Feel free to at your admins at any point in any channel, and we'll get right on it. So if you wanted to ask a question, for example, in this forum post, you would click on over to Q&A, and then in the bar at the bottom of the screen, or you can see it right under the picture in this example. What did you think it was? Ice cream? A hat?
I thought it was like a sock or a hat or something. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. But I thought, yeah, I'm not ice cream. I don't know.
Oh,
So small. I'm getting old, you know.
You can type your question in there. You can attach a picture if you would like, or another file using the link chain that we've seen in other programs as well. You can also attach emojis, and that's where these custom emojis come in. There's also a wide variety of emojis that Discord just provides for whatever. Get your question in there. A EM 2024 staff member will respond. If you feel like you asked your question a long time ago and you're not getting a response, it's okay to post it again or to @admin. Unicorn turtles, banana unicorn, that's interesting.
Oh, and Hannah, maybe you could read the what you're reading in the chat in case someone's listening.
Of course. Richard said, I hadn't known that turtles came in a unicorn variety. I hadn't known that either, but I like the idea of it. And I think next slide, but I'm not sure if there is a next slide. Okay, next slips. I give it back to Laura. Thank you so much. I see everybody joined the Discord. Thank you. I'm very excited.
I know. Hannah's up at all hours. She'll be responding, but no promises. All right, so you probably are wondering what's up next. All right, so Tuesday, October 31st, we're closing the survey for the Science Team Alpha applications, including the applications for the mount. Some of you have your own mounts and you have your own software. That's great. So we're going to designate people into that category, so you know that you have made it. If you're let us know. Dara's doing a great job kind of fielding questions and from you all. So if you have questions along the way. And then Tuesday, November 6th, we will select the volunteers, as I just mentioned. Everyone will be invited to a Monday, December 18th Zoom like this one, but that will be all about the science. As long as our scientists can make it. So that's our tentative time. We'll let you know as soon as possible if they are not able to make it, and then we'll change it. But that's what we're trying to keep all the meetings around the same time. We will also be sending out like the whole schedule of meetings until like 2 months after the eclipse, 3 months after the eclipse. So we'll have monthly meetings. We also will be having meetings both. We'll have meetings for the Science Team Alpha team, Science Team Alpha participants. What's the word there? Anywho, well, for you all who need all the explicit details and all of the questions you're already starting to ask. And then, but we also want to have an opportunity to continue to engage those of you who are waiting to learn more about the Kaggle competitions and machine learning pieces, and then also the Eclipse volunteers, volunteer scientists, right? Is that what we call them? Yeah. Again, we just came up with all this terminology recently. Science Team Alpha champions. Okay, yes. I love it. That's how I'll refer to us. Okay, so I guess we will stop sharing now. I'm going to stop sharing. So I'm going to do the stop share. And we can see all of you who are sharing, who have your cameras open. How fun. Okay, so we've got another 8 minutes or so before the end of the hour. Are there any questions or comments or that people might want to ask or just say out loud or in the chat? Or
I had some questions about focal lengths. You mentioned 200 to 400 millimeter, but I assume this depends on whether it's APS-C size sensor or full frame. And I thought that you would get to it. I didn't ask the question earlier because I thought you'd get to a slide that had that.
Yeah, I'm going to let Jeffrey answer that question. He's our expert in that.
Yes, we will have a table of which focal lengths are most appropriate for your sensor size. The idea is that we want to keep the diagonal field of view angle between 4 and 5 degrees.
Okay.
And of course, that depends on sensor size and aspect ratio and all that.
Yeah, so Jeffrey created a first draft of the table today, and then he talked to some other people, and then they said, what about these scenarios? So we're trying to cover.
We had an event back in 2016, and Fred Espenak was invited, and I got to sit with him for lunch, and so he basically gave me all the lowdown on how he does eclipse photography, and I have a table developed by him. But your focal lengths are shorter than his. He wanted a minimum of 1/4 of the vertical dimension that the sun should occupy, and no more than 1/2. Now 1/2 really cuts out a lot of the corona.
Right. So our goal is to at least have 4 solar radii in the image.
Okay.
So it's not close up on the eclipse itself. The eclipse itself isn't really the goal here, it's the corona. So we want to see more of the corona.
Perfect, got it.
All right, other questions? Thank you. And how cool that you got to sit with Fred Espenek. I was thinking too, we have, I've been emailing some of the experts and I thought maybe we'd bring them to one of our Zoom meetings and you all can ask all your great questions.
Just, you know, Tim Campbell, the guy just asked the question a moment ago, and myself, we're both solar system ambassadors with JPL. So we do a lot of outreach and stuff with NASA as what we do anyway. And we do a lot of talks on the science and so on of the eclipse as well. So we're being really busy recently, as you can imagine. And we were also the president and vice president of the group that run that event that Fred attended. So
Well, thank you. Thank you for all the work you're doing out there. I know the Eclipse, I mean, the ambassadors are really solar system ambassadors, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
only done about 10 presentations so far.
Yeah, you all are really, you're doing a great job across the country with your presentations. It's wonderful. I'm so excited you're here and part of this. Let us know if we can supply you with any slides or, so talk to Hannah about any kind of communication slides you might want. If you see anything you liked and you want to use it, it's all publicly funded, so.
Yeah, when you talk about the science, I'll see there. We've already created a deck that Tim and I share. So because we do talks, we're in the same area, so we do a lot of stuff together. We're part of the same astronomy club and everything together, so we do a lot together as a group. But if there's anything come up in the science, I'll ping you so you can send me on the deck.
Okay, and that reminds me, our science PI is here, Juan. Juan, are you able to say hello to everyone?
Sure. Hello.
Why don't you give us a little, you're doing some really cool other stuff too. Why don't you tell everyone about your cool CubeSat project you're doing as well? They might like that.
First of all, my name is Juan Carlos Martinez Oliveras. I'm a researcher at the Space Sciences Laboratory at UC Berkeley. I have been working with Laura on this Eclipse Megamovie since the last two eclipses, if we consider the Argentina one involved in this. I am the responsible for the horrendous HDR imaging that we made for the original one. It was complicated though, really hard to do. So what I do is solar physics. What I do mostly is studying the solar corona and the flares, CMEs, things like that. Currently, I'm the principal investigator of a CubeSat. My CubeSat is going to be observing the sun in X-rays and is trying to determine the polarization of the X-rays coming from flares. It is the size of a large shoebox. I mean, like, I don't know, snowboarding shoe boots, like that. It's big, it's a 12U. Yep, that's what I do partially. I do another stuff that is boring.
Not boring. Thank you, Juan.
I have a question,
James.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. And then we'll go to James.
If some of us, for those of us who have submitted to be as part of the mounts, if we don't get it, if we're not chosen, right? If we're not the chosen few, right? What are the chances of us getting the designs for it so we can see if we can build our own?
Oh yeah, that was absolutely, everyone will get the designs. We will have those on the website.
Well,
Yeah.
They were a modification of another design, and that design's fairly freely available. Let me see if I can drop a link to that.
Yeah, some of us have 3D printers, and if we can get the electronics, we can look into seeing what is possible. We may be able to build them ourselves if it's not ridiculously expensive to do so. Plastic is cheap. Right. Electronics is a part that can be pricey.
Right. I think the per unit cost is roughly around $50.
Oh, that's very cheap.
Yeah. So there was a question, do they have weight limits? Yes. You can't put onto them a DSLR camera with a 1,000mm lens. That's just simply too heavy. But a 2.5 pound camera that I have is like this camera here. With a 300 millimeter lens, works pretty well. Probably a D4 will work, assuming that you put on the appropriate amount of counterweight.
As long as it's well balanced, it should be okay, yeah?
Right.
All right, James, I see your hand's been up. You want to?
Hi, yeah, so I emailed with you earlier today. I'm with Science News Magazine, and we're hoping to write a story about this. And I had to step away for. I understand. In order to be on Team Alpha, you have to apply and be accepted, whether or not you get the mount, or I
Right,
mean, that
because some people have mounts, and right.
So if I already have a mount, do I have to apply and be accepted, or are you automatically in?
Well,
Team
you
Alpha?
still have to apply, so we have your, email basically.
Okay, but there's not
Right.
there's not a
Right.
limited number. If we get many people involved and you don't have enough mounts, but they are able to get mounts, you'll have space for them.
Right, right. That's why we're asking for donations in case, we happen to have some people who have the funds, then we can just get some more for people. So of course, and then people can also build their own. So if they build their own, like what Liam's saying, and then they can, so we haven't talked through the process after we close the applications, but we're gonna have to think through that because yeah, as long as you've got the, maybe it's just a matter of watching the Zooms. I don't know. We haven't, I don't know. People are so excited. I guess we did. We just thought we'd close it, and then people wouldn't want to be part of it. I don't know. So this is exciting that they might have what we need and what they. Yeah. So we'll have to think about that.
Okay. And October 31st is the deadline, though, to be involved in Team Alpha at all. You have to be in touch with you by October 31st.
Yeah, as of today, that will be that because we have to make our first selection of who gets the mounts. So for sure, we're closing everything down by the end of October, so we can make decisions for the first round of mounts. If people then come to us and say I have mounts, then we'll have to. I guess we can keep that as an option in the survey, because we are going to keep the survey open for the Python machine learning coding, and also for the Eclipse chasers and the volunteer scientists. So we will have that quote survey open until the Eclipse for those other categories. So
Okay. All right. Thank you.
yeah, no,
And
thank you.
just
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just to answer a quick question that was in the chat. If you are selected for one of the 100 EQ mounts that we are printing in Sonoma, we will ship them to you. So you do not have to worry about that. But this is where we would love to get those mounts to the folks that have no mount at all. And so if you do have your own mount, you can still be a huge part of Science Team Alpha with your own mount, following all the same requirements. We just want to get those 100 free ones to the ones that really, really need them.
And just to answer a question I see in the Q&A, Daniel asked, if I bought them out since I originally submitted my app, can I let someone know? I do want to be part of Alpha, but I don't need them out anymore. Absolutely, Daniel. If you were able to join the Discord, that will be the best way. If not, I'll take your name down, and maybe after this is over, I can get your email and we'll take you out of the selection pool. Thank you so much for letting us know.
All right, Rick has his hand up.
Yeah, just a very quick question about the mounts. I understand, from Jeffrey that these are going to have weight limitations for the camera lens combination. My question was more about the mount itself. Is this an automated mount? I know it's an EQ mount. Is it going to have automation to it, or are you going to manually track it?
No, there's a program that's loaded into the Arduino, and that basically this rotation rotates at the same speed as the sun moving across the
Right.
sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just polar line it, and basically it moves at sidereal speed to track the sun. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, so that was one of the equatorial mounts that Jeffrey had, if you didn't infer as much.
Can I ask one more question? Jeffrey, did you print them out? What material did you use for printing them out?
Can you repeat the question?
What material did you use when you 3D printed the mount?
PLA.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was
Is there a reason
better,
why PETG won't work?
I believe Simon used PLA originally. And so we have certain limitations here of what kind of material we can print in the building because we don't have a hood, right?
Yeah.
PLA is the most safest to use in a 3D printer in the space that we're using. So that's what we use.
I'm just asking is because when you get into this, once you start going south in a place like Texas and south, temperature is going to be an issue for PLA because it's got a very low glass glass point.
Color is important. So
yeah, reflective white.
All the mounts that we printed were in white.
Okay.
For a ridiculously cheap amount of money, you can get this gold foil survival blanket material. And what I do, even for my electronics, I wrap my electronics with the gold foil just to reflect away all the infrared heat.
that is great idea. And I've been a little worried about the heat because we have watched our PLA melt. Not the white. It's been sitting in the window for, we've been testing it, but still, I love that idea.
You could also test PETG. It's also non-toxic. ABS is like the stuff that, you got to have a hood. It creates fumes. You don't want to breathe it. But PETG is safe and non-toxic, but it has a much higher melting point. So it'll handle being out in the heat a little bit better. I find that it is a little bit more flexible. So you got to make sure you have the rigidity you want. PLA will naturally be more rigid.
Yeah, I buy 10 kilos in PETG, so I'll just do it in PETG. I use big spools.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? We're over now, and I know Hannah had offered to stay for anyone who wanted a little extra Discord support. But we'll just ask one more if any other last minute questions.
I did see some people asking about Eclipse Orchestrator. For Windows, the counterpart for that is Eclipse Maestro for the Mac, and those were both mentioned by Fred Espenak. It's what he uses. It's specifically designed for Eclipses, and my camera will bracket through. I think I've got it set for 13 stops of bracketing when I shot the 2017 Eclipse. You mentioned Nina, but is it just you've got a requirement for focal length, and I also try and set my camera so it's always north up orientation, so you don't have people with random orientations. But other than that, and getting the exposures, do you really care what software is used?
Not really. We'll standardize the aperture opening, the ISO settings, and I'm hoping to be able to get a posting of the exposure times that we would like.
Okay.
If I can say something, so what is important to us, I mean, from the science point of view, is not as much as the image itself, but how we are going to be treating the image. So you can take all the 13 brackets, but we need the flats and the darks to make something with it.
Right, and we'll provide instructions on how to do that.
How well the camera is going to be pointing, it will be awesome if it's absolutely pointed. It is good, but the only good thing, I think, one of the good things on the previous experiment is that we have already the codes to reshuffle everything and have a good pointing with the same size in the sun. Everything is already done, expecting the good quality images. Right.
Tim, we might have to design a pole master mount for that.
No, it's not necessary.
Mount.
For the previous Eclipse, we did not have any mount.
I know, but I'm saying if we do a pole master on that, we'll get precise polar alignment the night before, so it'll be perfectly aligned for the next morning.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Juan's just emphasizing the flats and darks, which we did not emphasize last time. So we will be doing training for those. But it's not too hard. You know, the darks, you just keep the cap on after the eclipse and take a picture. So, or you take the bracket off, like if you took 13 brackets during the, you know, during totality, you could put the cap on and take the same brackets with the cap on, and we'll know what are the hot pixels for sure.
Yeah,
But
we'd probably have to do a master dark because you have all different exposure levels. Exposure times are different, so you'll have to probably do a master dark for that.
On
Yeah,
the
So,
flats,
so I just linked to a YouTube video for the less experienced users on how to do a white t-shirt, getting the white t-shirt method of getting flats. We just had a student that did the annular, and he submitted the flats with his darks, and it wasn't that difficult to do, but you do have to do it for every exposure that you've taken with your lights.
For the
What-
darks, yeah.
what is critical for the flats is that you pick your focal ratio and stick to it. Every time you change a focal ratio, you will change the vignetting pattern. So for example, I shot everything at f8. So the vignetting is the vignetting. So essentially one flat would be it would be valid for everything. But if you're changing focal ratio to change the stops, then your vignetting pattern is changing with every exposure.
Okay, awesome. Laura, I saw that you wanted to respond to Dave's question in the Q&A. Has that been answered yet?
oh, Dave wrote that it had been answered, so it was, I didn't have a way to say it has been answered. So,
I got you.
I said it will be answered.
In that case, from Jay, we have, how precise will the polar alignment need to be?
Right, so I think Juan addressed that. Now, the only difference, Juan, don't forget, we got all that alignment in part due to Regulus. And so we, but I don't know, in terms of the precision, I mean, the atmosphere is gonna already make it not precise to a certain degree. So I guess we want it that precise. Which I don't know what that is exactly, but we'll get there. As precise as you can. I think Liam wrote that. Do your best. It'll be better than no alignment. So
You know, if you don't have a way of doing precise polar alignment, or like with electronics of some form, you can do a thing called drift alignment, and there's videos out there on how to do that. And if you set up your equipment the night before and you use drift alignment, you can get pretty precise when it comes to your tracking, and that way then you're good for the next day for when the eclipse happens, as long as you don't move your equipment.
So if you don't have any way to do the alignment, that's, I mean, we already have the code that does alignment.
It's 4 minutes, right? You only want totality. You don't want anything else.
That is
yes,
correct.
correct.
Oh, okay. Then
I mean, from a
not wrong.
science perspective, from an output perspective,
it shouldn't drift too much in 4 minutes unless it's really bad.
Yeah.
I know, but even so, we're looking for transients. So if it drifts a bit between the beginning and the end, then it might be a little harder to determine if it's transient or is it a drift. I mean, we should be able to back it out, but a lot of our alignment was possible due to the Regulus, and we don't have Regulus this time. We might have dimmer stars, but those will be seen in the, longer exposure times. So, but like I said, we're still taking, even if that's drifting and you're taking pictures, we're still taking those. Those just will be loaded in a different bucket, because we can use those. Once we have all the ones we know are aligned, then we can align them all in principle.
Hey, Laura, I just want to point out one of the answered questions in the Q&A is about planning practice sessions ahead of next April to test the tracking and camera settings. Absolutely, yes, yes, yes. We will do lots of hands-on practice and troubleshooting and more practice and talking and practice. So not to worry about that. There was another question about when the mount will be shipped, and I assume as soon as we make our selections, we're going to close on Halloween, make our selections hopefully within 1 week, notify you all, and then ship them out right after that. And so, yeah, we're moving on this thing. Just so you guys know, we are planning the first STAR specific meeting in November, and so that is why that is our goal, is to have at least the notifications out. You may not have the mount in hand for that first meeting, but at least we can gather and start to talk. We can definitely train with examples, and that it will be like the known team will be set by then, and that is tentatively set for November 13th. So that is our timeline just for that, just so you know. And the December 18th meeting that we're planning on, we are thinking of it also as like a solstice thing. And so before your solstice celebrations, we will have some hardcore sun science and some really fun practice. And by then, everyone who applied for a mountain were notified that they are a recipient would have received it. And so we can get really into the technical nitty-gritty by then.
Okay, well, I just want to thank you all. For so many of you, this is your dinner time and you're here with us instead. And that is means a lot to us, but we also want you to eat. So I'm going to end our meeting now. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch. And I look forward to the next time we see you all.
And anyone who wants to just show their video for a quick flash, that'd be awesome before we sign off. Thank you, everyone. It was lovely seeing you and hearing your voices and seeing your words in the chat.
Thanks, everyone. And I'm hanging out just in case there's anybody who didn't get into Discord that wanted to.
Have a great one, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for coming.
And Hannah, I'm going to stop the recording, but feel free to record your own if you feel like it's useful.
No, we're Gucci.
Okay, I'm stopping. Here we go.